Hi everyone, it's Dr. E and I'm here with your week 14 instructional video, doing things a little bit differently this week because I do want to address some of the different things I was seeing in the written responses, just so that when you're going in and working on revisions for your writing collection, you have some things in mind based on just some of the things I've seen with those submissions. I'm not going to have a video where I walk through the content area and the week 14 module, but at this point in the semester, I think you know where to go and what to do. You do have a quiz that's due this week, as well as the writing collection, at least as it's stated on the schedule. So I want to walk through a few things, and just to give you a heads up, the first thing I want you to know is how I grade. So when it comes to grading the writing collections, what I'll do is I'll pull up your previous submissions and put them right next to your writing collection, your finalized, revised response on my screen, and I'll look to see what kind of work you've done. Have you attended to those things that I mentioned? Have you updated things on your own? So just know that that is going to happen. I'm going to be looking at those side by side. Note that the feedback that you've received from me, it doesn't cover every single thing. That would just be overwhelming in some ways, but also I will mention something once, say where you place the period when it comes to the quotation. I'll mention it in one area, but I'm not going to do that every single time. My assumption is that if I identify that as an issue once, you will then go through and find those different areas where you need to make those adjustments. So don't just go in and focus only on my feedback. Look to see if you have any trends in your writing you need to address, or things that you just want to change, because you are free to make some updates and changes. Of course, you are the final author/editor. When it comes to writing in academia, we always use last names. So we don't know these people. So we tend to use last names not only as a sign of respect, but also because those are the first things that appear in a works cited page. So there's a method behind all this MLA madness. If I'm using the last name of Washington, then I, as an MLA person, know that I can flip to that works cited page and find an entry where the very first word in that entry is Washington. So first names are just not something we use in academic writing, but I've seen that quite a bit in some things, so please make sure you're adjusting that and make sure you're spelling those last names correctly. You want to make sure that you're properly capitalizing titles. In MLA, it means the first letter of every word in a title, aside from those things that are like conjunctions or prepositions, that kind of thing. So for citations, I want you to look in D2L, and this is for the 1301 folks. Note that Finley's citation is updated. It was a little outdated from the previous versions of MLA, so that has been updated. Those of you in British literature, note that there are some example citations in D2L as well. I want us to work towards avoiding using you in our academic writing, and that's because it can be seen as a little too informal, as though you're having a conversation with your reader, but you're not, right? You're presenting your information to them, you're arguing your ideas in front of a courtroom, and you is sometimes a crutch in our writing. We may use it to excess, because it's a bit comfortable. It's how we talk, right? So we just want to make sure that we're avoiding that in our academic writing. So you can say something like, use them or people, just generalize in a way that is not addressing directly the reader. You want to create paragraphs that are even and balance information. So those of you in 23 British literature, make sure that you're balancing, say, your assessment of Arthur Conan Doyle and his text versus Robert Louis Stevenson and his text. There should be an even amount there. For those of you in 1301, you want to make sure that your connection paragraph, like where you connect your own experiences, is not by far longer than the paragraphs where you're doing your summary and analysis. We always want to keep our reader in mind. I mean, our main goal in writing is to present our ideas in an effective way so that a reader can follow them very easily. So imagine a reader who's starting at the very beginning of your work and is reading through seamlessly and smoothly through all the way to the end. That's our ultimate goal, where a reader doesn't have to stop and reread or stop and go, well, is this a quote? Where are the quotation marks? You don't want your reader to stop multiple times because your writing is a little bit ineffective or unclear. So what questions are they going to have? Are they going to read a paragraph and not know what's going on in the story or what's going on in the text? Just anticipate what a reader who doesn't have much familiarity with your topic, what questions will they have? Avoid starting or ending paragraphs with quotes. It's confusing to readers, and it's one of those crutches that we may have in our writing. We don't want to rely on somebody else's words. We want to start and end our paragraphs with our own words. We should be leaving space to explain all the quotes that we've chosen. And what quotes can they follow? So this is something where I may have put something in your work such as integrate your quote seamlessly into the sentence, or change the language of the quote, or something where I want you to think of your reader and say that you're reading to them. You're reading off the page. You should essentially have something set up so that they cannot necessarily tell that you are quoting somebody because it is seamless in your sentence. But if they're looking at the page, they see those quotation marks, they see the MLA citation. So you need to make sure that they're following your ideas and that you're explaining the quotes. Don't just drop in a random quote that really doesn't have any connection to what you're writing about. So for this, some of this stuff, make sure that you're visiting the MLA Help module in D2L that has helpful links and examples, not just for quoting, but also for formatting, for thinking about in-text citations and those kinds of things. For quoting, I want you to avoid too many. This is something where we may rely a little bit too heavily on somebody else's voice rather than our own writing. Trust your writing. I think I wrote this so much. Trust your writing, trust your ideas, trust your words. Only pick those quotes that are absolutely necessary to support your ideas, okay? Avoid too many. There's some paragraphs that I've read that have multiple quotes in a single paragraph, but very little of your own writing. A majority of that writing in each paragraph should be yours. It should be your words, whether you're paraphrasing or pushing your analysis. Those quotes are there to support your ideas. They are not the driving force behind those ideas in that paragraph. Outside sources need credit, so if you're bringing in an outside source from the primary source that you're analyzing, that text that you've been assigned that week, you need to make sure that you're crediting them properly. Whew, this is one I wrote a lot. The period always goes after the parentheses when it comes to quotations. You have your quotation marks that are ending the quote, you open your parentheses, you have the author's last name and page number if that's there, close parentheses, period after that. Look at the examples. Topic sentences are something I mentioned quite a bit too. I want you to think about those as mini thesis statements. So what is your main idea in that paragraph? That topic sentence should talk about the general idea, what you are addressing in that paragraph. Sometimes when people are frustrated because they're having trouble organizing their ideas, it's a topic sentence situation. So either you need to revise your topic sentence to encompass things that you've kind of moved into, if you've changed directions a little bit, or you need to make some edits in the actual paragraph. So the topic sentences should really provide an answer to, like, what is this paragraph about? Okay. So I want to just give you fair warning that the grading expectations are higher for this assignment. It is a very large assignment points-wise, but it's also based on the fact that you are revising something that you previously submitted and that you're submitting an assignment that has come with various resources. You know, I go over examples in the video. There is a template, there is a handout with a rubric, that kind of thing. So yeah, my expectations are going to be higher. The grading is, is more intensive. So again, please make sure that you're making all the updates using all the tools that are available to you. Visit with a tutor, have a friend or family member read your work and give you some insights. Get somebody else with fresh eyes on your work, because 9 times out of 10, they're going to catch a mistake that you don't, because you've read through it so many times and it's your own writing, and that's just, the way our brains function. Okay, so good luck this week. Please note that there is an extension for the written collection. I am extending the due date by a week, so take that time if you need it, but also, think in the back of your mind of all the other things that you have due, including your multimedia project. I'll be working on giving you feedback for those plans, but just make sure that you are using your time wisely. But good luck this week, y'all. We are in the final push, so hang in there and good luck.